Hey guys, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for coming to the website presentation. So I'm Matt with RunSignup. I really love our website feature. I love teaching people how to use the websites, seeing everybody's creative juices flowing to make their race website stand out. Your race website, it is your online presence. It's how athletes find your race, it's where they register, and it's how you promote your brand. A traditional website can be expensive, difficult to update, and lacking in mobile responsiveness and search engine optimization. RunSignup's free race websites are designed to solve this by creating an easy to update site without sacrificing professional design. So throughout this presentation, I'm going to show you how to make the most of your website, including branding your colors, creating custom content sections, a sleek cover page, and even branding it with a dedicated domain. A lot of traditional website complaints that we hear about is the website is separate from registration and fundraising. This is getting more and more pronounced because it's harder for people to track cross-domain tracking. Once you go from one website to a third-party website to complete something, that cross-domain tracking is just lost. It's not industry specific, it's all across the internet. So by having it in a one-stop solution, you're able to see that tracking of where participants are actually coming from and completing that purchase. It's also difficult to update or make changes. Sometimes you have an IT guy that has to update the website and you have to rely on them to do it. It's really hard to keep up with web security. WordPress comes out with updates almost weekly. It might not be mobile friendly, they're too costly, and they just get outdated quickly. So with RunSignup, what do you get with a free race website? So let's start with the basics. So out of the box, it's automatically a professional design. Your brand is first. We don't even show the RunSignup information on there. There's no ads. It's easy to customize from the back end. You can put photos up there. There's call to action buttons. Participants can look themselves up, manage their registration, and your results are right there in real time. And best of all, it's free. But wait, there's more. Everything's search engine optimized. It's mobile responsive. We have the built-in analytics on that Race Insights dashboard. It's highly available, 100% uptime since 2015 on our software. It's data-driven. And our websites are relying off the same architecture that the RunSignup site is. So it's secure, PCI Level 1 compliant, and the new California Consumer Protection Act compliant as well. So I want to briefly highlight the importance of a data-driven website. It just means that your content on your website is tied directly to the information in RunSignup's dashboard. So things like price increases, dates changing automatically, dynamic content is like your participant lists, photos, results, and all that information is always up to date. So while the service is free, the quality is still sky high. Notice that does not say you're an idiot. So we make this process easy. We're going to start with going over the content, and that's where you can create, what people are looking for when they come to your website. We're going to also explore the magic of a cover page to make everything pop and really tell the story of your race. And then we're going to finish it off by branding it with a custom domain. Before we get started, I just want to go some quick navigation tips for the race dashboard. Don't forget, the race menu search is your friend. So always use the dashboard search in the upper left-hand side of your back end, and you can type in and easily find information. Moving to the dashboard header, there's a quick search. If you have multiple races on RunSignup, notice there's a little down arrow beside the Vancouver Trail Run. You can click on that and easily navigate to the same exact page on a different race. So if you want to update certain content across all your races, it's very easy to stay in that same area and to just kind of move laterally. There's also a race status indicator. You can click on that to see the health of your race. It shows things like, is registration open? Is your payment account set up? Are you in draft mode? And things of that nature. The view website button is an easy way. When you're making changes in the back end, you just click on the view website and you can see those changes on the front end to what it looks like in the participant view. There's also the signups button. If you click that down arrow, it'll expand the information and give you some other reports as like how you're trending this year versus last year. So let's get into race page customizations. So your default race website right out of the box comes with all the technical details under the hood, but right out of the gate, we have just a generic banner, generic logo, and a generic looking website, but it is all search engine optimized, mobile responsive, and everything. So the menu tabs are based off of the content that you have created. So in this example, from the get-go, we have our refund policy. This race has donations, so we have a donation button and a call to action, and all your events are listed there as well. So the automated content, again, that data-driven content, if you turn on groups and teams, we're going to have a groups and teams tab for people to click on and sign up. The refund policy is there. Any price increases that you have are automatically going to show in the event tiles. Google Map directions right to your race. There's a questions form if people have questions to contact you. And then any social media information that you plug in is also going to show up as well. So you want to take advantage of this automated content because your website is up and running 24/7 and you never know when people are going to come to your website. So for this presentation, we're basically going to focus on these menu tabs. We're under the race tab in the race page section, and we're going to cover from race theme all the way down to the menu order. So let's get started with the theme options. So by default, we have the horizontal theme, and so that's basically the menu is at the top of the race banner. So it's very sleek, and we also have a vertical navigation where you can put the sign up call to action button on the left-hand side with the left menu. So those are the two kind of template options that you have from the race page out the get-go. And then there's more template options. So we have our design and layout. You can plug in your social media. This is where you can add a tagline and homepage cover content information. And for this screen, we have a hero page layout. So we have a default layout where your race name is going to kind of overlay the hero banner. And we also have an alternate layout where you're going to kind of have the name listed above your image. So if you have a really good image, you want to show it for the alternative layout so that way you can best highlight the image that you uploaded for your banner. The color scheme, you really want to match the color scheme of your race. This kind of helps brand everything. And we have an easy color picker. So you can match your theme and your logo. And the default options we have in there for a couple, we have like 6 or 8 different color palettes that you can pick from. But you can easily put in your own hexadecimal color codes to match it exactly. So the race logo, this is where you really want to show off your brand. By default, we just have a little running shoe in the upper left-hand side, but everybody wants to upload their logo. That's what gets shared on social media when people are searching for your race, and that's where you can really brand your event. I'd say be careful with customizations, and that's because a lot of people I see have the race date in their logo, and what happens is Google and Facebook cache that image, and when you upload that image, Google and Facebook are going to keep that cached until who knows when they release it and try to crawl your image again and then get updated with the new image. So having a flat image of your logo is recommended. So that way, when you renew for next year, you don't have the old date in your logo. Square logos work best, and we generally recommend 400 by 400 pixels for the upload. For the race banner, you can customize a banner or upload a photo. Windows has a native program, Windows Photo Gallery. Mac has Preview. You can Google any free image editor of your choice. And Canva is pretty popular that people are using to kind of create their own banner images. And you can use our croppy tool for this, allow you to kind of zoom in to make sure that it's 1200 by 400 pixels. So we've gone through the race theme. So let's kind of check the progress of our website. So we went from that default website. Now we have our branded logo. We've added our color schemes and our race banner. So without much to do, we've already kind of flipped the script on updating the website. So let's add some other content here. Under the race tab, under race page, we're going to be in the custom sections area. And this is where you want to build out your content. This is where you can really get it to feel like a real professional website by adding content that people are coming to your race to look for. Highlight your referral program. Let people know that, they can earn a free race if you use our referral sources. Highlight FAQs. People are looking for their own information. They do want to solve their own issues. And so that helps cut down on support so you can concentrate on other things like adding more content to your website or focusing on race day. And you really want to highlight the information that what people are going to experience at the race to kind of really tell the story of what they're going to experience and get them excited to share and refer with their friends. Some advanced options when you're adding custom content, you can even brand the page URL if you want. There's also attachment options. You can upload a logo or a PDF image for like an athlete guide. And we also have an embed options for widgets or video. So once we've added the actual content itself, we want to kind of display that in our menu and make it in a logical order for people to find. So we want to showcase this off. This is under the race tab, under race page and custom content display. You can actually control the navigation menu at the top. It helps you organize the flow. And so what we have here is some information can display on the race page right when they come to it, or you can create your own menu tab, and you can even create sub-menu items that are in there. One of the advanced options in here is to kind of trick the system into putting content where you want it. So by default, our refund policy is a actual automatically generated tab. So what we're doing here is we created a duplicate content section for our refund policy and linked that to the RunSignup auto-generated policy. And now we're putting it under our sub-menu tab here. And you'll see where that is when we highlight the menu up here. So we've added all this custom content. And so here's our menu. And you see how it's kind of long. And we even have our race info. We've put some information under the race info tab. Under the race info tab is that refund policy custom content information that we said. And there's also the default refund policy still there. So there's some duplicate content here, such as the sign up information and the call to action button. And then we've hidden a lot of our content under that More tab. So we want to kind of clean that up a little bit. So where you do that is under your menu order section. So this is under race and race page and menu order. So the menu order allows you to click and drag to move things up and down. And so when we're using the horizontal layout, up and down would be left to right. Or if you're using the vertical, then it's just as is. So you can also reorder the sub-navigation menus, and there's hide options and draft mode options. So for here, we've hidden the sign up tab because we already have the call to action button, and we've also hidden that refund policy. But our custom section that we created under our refund policy is under the race info. So we can really highlight all the information on our race in one logical tab. So now that we check our race menu, it's nice and clean, very simple and very easy to find information. We have our frequently asked questions tab. We're highlighting our earn a free race through our referral program, and the sign up and donate call to action buttons are right there at the top.
Excuse me, is the max number of, pages total you can have is 6, or what is it?
It's really, the maximum of your menu is really determined by the number of characters that are in there. So the longer menu names, then the less that you're going to have on there.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So now let's look at the cover page option. So this is really going to make your website pop. This is under the race tab, under race page and cover page. Basically what this is, it's a mobile optimized landing page. You can customize the header. There's 5 different header banners that you can customize that automatically scroll through. You can really brand your race by using this. You can show off your sponsors. You can show off different sections of your race and drive action through custom buttons. There's some advanced transition options to allow the hero banner to automatically scroll as well. So when you go into the cover page section, you have the header banner options where you can create multiple banners, again, up to 5 banners. And on the left-hand side is a little grid that you can click and kind of drag things up and down to get the order that you want. There's little edit icons that you can go in and drill in to edit the information. So let's create a header content. So this is where you name your header. This is on the back end. So this is kind of naming it for you. So do you understand on the back end how you're logically flowing your information that doesn't show up on the front end? You can put custom text to overlay the banner. And there's also some preset action buttons that you can put right on the banner images. So you can have up to 5 different banner images. Maybe one of them is a registration, one is a volunteer, one is a donate, and then one is a become a sponsor button. And so the race theme colors are automatically applied. As far as your overlay colors, you can use a white overlay, no overlay, and you can really kind of customize it. So images will scale to fit the device. So the header content uses our croppy tool. So it doesn't have to be that exact amount from the race banner. So this is a little overlay image that you can fix to whatever kind of sizes that you want to scroll in. So here's the example of the croppy tool. Right now we're just at the default. There's a little scroll ticker at the bottom, and you can zoom in or zoom out to kind of best fit the page. So the recommended sizes for optimal images on the banner is 2000 by 800 pixels, and that would be a full content. We'll get into some split content sections and where we recommend 900 by 360 for a split content for optimization. But realistically, with the croppy tool, you can kind of zoom in and zoom out to fit how you want it. So now that we've added a couple banner images, let's add the content. So there's multiple different content options. You can have a full width, there's 2 columns, we have a countdown widget, there's custom action buttons that you can highlight, there's video, and there's multiple different data components. And again, imagination is the limit. You can put in your color themes, and the dynamic components really can tell the story of your race. And again, it's all dynamic. You have top fundraisers, all kinds of information like your social media feed and things like that. So when we go to create a content section, again, you name your content. This helps you logically display it and move it around when you decide you want to change things, move stuff left to right, move stuff up and down. And there's different editing options that you can do. On the upper right-hand side, there's an add a column button. So we've gone in to create a generic full screen content, but you can split that into 2 different contents. And that really looks nice and causes a nice little contrast. So here's an example for the website. So I added a quote from one of the athletes in my race, and also basically a little campaign to help people volunteer and clean up the course as well. So that's all by doing split content, uploading an image, using the croppy tool to get the image, and then adding the overlay for that image. And then I just used a flat background with no photo on the other side to kind of break the page up a little bit. Another example is the custom actions example. So I think this is a really nice tool to kind of break up the page as well and kind of give more information of your race. So I've created a destination race. So I will have a call to action button to click on to go right to more info, or to become a sponsor, or to go ahead and volunteer for the race. So different call to action buttons that were different from the donate and the sign up button. And in the custom sections, you have a link. So you'll notice here, it's got the link to the race info page, and it just goes right to more info. You can even put a custom link in there. So whatever link you want to do, if you created one of those menu options that you want them to link to, you just plug that link in there as well. We can also add video right to our cover page. So I've added a video of somebody training the course, kind of like a course preview, and you just plug in a YouTube video ID, and then it comes with a nice overlay with a play button to play on YouTube. So here's an example of one of those data components that again is in real time and data driven. This is our fundraiser component where it's going to list our top fundraisers and our top team fundraisers. So in addition to fundraising, we also show our event tiles, which is the price increases and the amount of your race. We show your social media icons, and we can also show off your sponsors. So the newest thing that Bob released yesterday was our email capture form. And so I'm sure we've all been to a website and you're not quite ready to buy, but there's this email capture form to learn more info. And you can customize this to kind of generate more leads. And this captures the person's name and email. So you can kind of tell them more about the race, maybe offer them a coupon, encourage them to sign up to get them to convert. So it's definitely a perfect way to capture information and tell them why they should do your race. And so this new feature, it's under the email marketing tab in our race dashboard and under the email capture form. And again, you can customize the text on here, and it's going to automatically capture that into a custom email list that you can send out to people. So let's check the theme of our race now that we've added our cover page. So we have our nice banner option that kind of slides through. We've broken our page up with little call to action buttons that are again branded with our earth tones for the trail race. And then we have our quote and our Keep Vancouver Beautiful with our video at the bottom. So that's the basics of the cover page. And so now we're going to top this off with a branded domain. So this is under the race tab under race page and domains. And so I'm just going to go to my favorite DNS manager and purchase VancouverTrailRun.com. So with the website infrastructure, we do a lot of stuff under the hood. I can't really get into everything for security reasons, but we're PCI level 1 compliant, and all of that information and all the architecture under the hood, all of the servers for backups, they're all using the same architecture for your race website. So the security on the back end, the availability and the scalability and performance of your website, it's all running off the same engine that RunSignup does for everything. So we're handling the SSL encryption for you. Most companies would charge anywhere from $150 to $500 a year for the SSL e-commerce subscription. But for our domain feature, we use a company called Let's Encrypt. And Let's Encrypt is the industry leader in certificate authority, and it's supported by major heavyweights in the industry such as Google, Cisco, Facebook, and Microsoft, and more. So since all traffic routes through our PCI Level 1 certified structure, that means your free website is independently audited and verified annually as well. So that's enough technical mumbo jumbo. For the domain setup process, again, this is a 3-step easy process as well. You just access your domain, and that's where you purchase your domain from. You're then going to prove that you own that domain by configuring what they call text records. And then once the RunSignup sees that you've entered those text records, we'll go ahead and issue that SSL certificate. And then the last configuration is for you to then update your A record and CNAME to point to the RunSignup information. So we'll walk through an example of that. But if you already have a domain and you bought it a long time ago and you're not really sure like where it is or who hosts it, a website is whois.icann.org. And you can just search your domain and look it up, and you can see that it'll have where that information is hosted. So the registrant contact, and you have the registrar. This one says GoDaddy. So I would know to log into my GoDaddy account to start editing my DNS records. So the registrar is who you actually pay for the domain. DNS, or the domain name server, that's where the traffic actually gets directed. And then hosting is who hosts the website. And all 3 of these can be different. Usually 2 or 3 of them are the same. So let's go ahead and start adding our domain or subdomain. Again, this is under the race page under domains. So we take care of the www for you. So we're just typing in Vancouver Trail Run right here. But if I had to subdomain, if I had a lot of races and I just wanted to subdomain them out as like examples of like tampa.candycanerun.com, then I would just start typing in my subdomain in here as well. You can pick from .com, .org, and a couple other ones. And so as you type it in, it's going to fill that and populate it at the bottom. And when we click add domain, it's going to start the domain configuration status. So this is where I briefly mentioned the text records. So now that we've updated this information, we have these little edit icons, and you basically just want to copy this information exactly into your DNS manager. So you're going to go and log in and add a text record. You're going to copy the _ acne challenge, and then you're going to put the record value in there as well. And so we have help guides that'll walk you through on this for some major DNS providers, but you might need to contact your DNS provider for the steps on how to add a text record or a record. Once this is done, it's an automated process, takes probably 15-20 minutes. And we mentioned there's 30 minutes on here just to be safe. And after 30 minutes, what happens is once we've verified that you've installed those text records correctly, we're reaching out through Let's Encrypt. We're finding that SSL certificate. We're automatically generating that and installing it for you. So in about that 30-minute process, now it comes back to that last step, which is adding the A record or CNAME record. So you'll see the A name record. In this case, it's the @ sign. That's because it was a brand new domain that hasn't ever been pointed anywhere. If you already have a domain that's pointed somewhere, you'll see that certain IP address that's there, and that's where you update the IP address to the new one. You don't want to add a second A record. And once that's done, again, that's another 15-20 minute process for it to propagate. Normally the time to live is about 10 minutes on that, and your website will be up and running. So you can actually go to VancouverTrailRun.com and see that cover page that we just built. So if you had any trouble with your domains, let us know. We can kind of help configure that with you in the demo room area. So some domain gotchas, they copied the wrong information. So we have those edit icons. You really want to use those edit icons to copy that exact information to the clipboard. A lot of people will miss that leading _ or different information on there, or they try to type that crazy text record on there. Just go ahead and use those copy informations. Like I mentioned, there's multiple A records. You can only point your website to one location, so that way the internet knows where to travel. If you have an existing website that you're pointing over to RunSignup and you have any links, it's going to break those links because we don't have that content that was added through WordPress or wherever your information is. So you want to make sure that your cover page and all the content, your athlete guides are uploaded onto the RunSignup side before you point that information away, because that old information, it'll break those links. The good thing is we don't actually own your domain. You still own your domain. So if anytime you decide that it's not the right solution for you, you still own the domain. You can point it wherever you want. This does require a payment account though to set up, just because of the architecture, and we're going through the process of creating that SSL for you. We want to already be down the stream by having that payment account set up for the race. And then you have to log into this domain separately. So if you're on runsignup.com, you're probably already logged in. A lot of people stay logged in to RunSignup just like they do Facebook. But if you go to this separate domain, it requires a separate login for that. So we've made some updates to that to make it a little bit more prominent that they're using the RunSignup login to log into your website. And so when you're in your DNS settings, remember, we can say it all together, never touch the MX records, because we don't provide the email hosting for you. So leave the MX records alone, please. And so here we go. We have a mobile optimized website that shows up on iPhone or a desktop. And now we have a full professional website here. So just to recap the design aspect of things, you want to customize your content. What information are people searching for your race? Put that information out there so that way it cuts down on some questions. Leave some FAQ sections up there, leave some self-service information, and then also explore the magic of cover pages. Tell the story through those images, and then finish off by branding with a website and a domain. Because your website's open 24/7, RunSignup tends to drive a lot of traffic because of our search engine optimization. So even if you have your own website, if people are Googling your race, RunSignup's going to rank really highly up there, and often we're the first impression. When people register for your race and they share to do that referral tracking, the link that they're sharing is the RunSignup link. So that's getting that traffic to come back to your page. So don't leave the RunSignup page as the default. Even if you have your own website, you want to customize it because that's often the first impression that people get. So let's go over some website examples to get those creative juices flowing. This is the Lake Canesti 50K. I really like this one because it's very simple and it's just the classic cover page look, and it's really using their colors, partly because green's my favorite color. But the event tiles will show the two choices that they have for their race. And then they have the nice countdown clock with their color scheme and the course preview. And then they have their social media integration right at the bottom. So this is a very simple cover page option. The next one that really tells the story of the race would be the Ville to Ville Craft Brew Relay. These have scenic images that really get you inspired to get your friends together and run as a team. having people at the finish line, having people arms locked at the end. I don't think there's any pictures of beer on this one, but what better way to celebrate with friends to kind of do that. And they've highlighted their sponsor images at the bottom as well. And this is the Gem City Classic for the actual race, but the Advanced Running Project brands their image at the bottom of all their races, and it kind of goes with the color scheme of the race. So this one is more blue and yellow, so they've added their blue and yellow Advanced Running Project. And this is a way to let people know the expectations. They come to your race, they know that I've been to an Advanced Running Project race before, I'm going to get this exact same level of service of video results, photos, and things like that. So they use the color scheme overlays to help brand their race, and they have different ones. They have the black and red, they have the gray and purple, and different ones, and they've updated their logo to kind of match the color schemes as well. NFS Strong 5K, this is a fundraising race, and so they're really using the content sections with call to action buttons to really tell the story of their charity and highlight their messaging and give a video of what good they're doing with the charity. And they've really broke up the blocks and the call to action buttons here, and they have a little offset. You have the blue and the white, and then breaking it up with the video, and then the white and the blue. It's just a little eye appealing way to kind of set up your cover page. And then, not to get on a theme here, but this is a Peak to Brew relay. They're really thinking outside of the box here. So they're doing a multi-race bundle, and on the event tile data component, the multi-race bundle doesn't show in the event component currently. So what they've done is they've added a custom section for the full width banner and used the same branding of the green button to really highlight their multi-race bundle, and they've put it right above their event tiles. So I thought that was a really neat idea for them to do that, and they're able to highlight the best deals with the options and content that their race is providing. One other great example of not only a cover page but custom content that you're adding is the May the Course Be With You 5K. All these images are made by that website Canva that I mentioned earlier. And so they've really kind of highlighted and gone all out on the theme for their Star Wars theme race. And inside the custom content, again, they've created their own menu. So this is under the Become a Fundraiser menu. They're letting people know about levels and badges to really increase fundraising, to where if you raise $300, you're a youngling, and they go all the way up to like Padawan and all the information to be like a Jedi Knight, and really encourages people to earn these badges and raise money to earn rewards for fundraising for their charity. So I tried to cover as much content as quickly as possible, so that way we have plenty of time for questions. So let's open it up for questions. All right.
Back when you were setting up the page, you said, let's clean this up a little bit, and you had headers at the top. There was one called Edit My Registration.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work, and what does that link to?
Yeah, so she was asking about the custom content at the top. I had an edit registration option. So this is the custom content section. And again, I just named the section Edit My Registration. And I'm using a RunSignup widget, which is the Manage My Registration widget. So right on my website, I can go in and do any type of participant management changes that I can. And it's right there on the page. Since a lot of runners will come to your page first to look for that stuff, and they don't necessarily think to go to their RunSignup profile and manage their registration from there. So that option, it's a nice thing to add to allow people to manage their registration. You can also use that frequently asked questions page to link directly to some help content, which will walk a runner through how to change their t-shirt size or how to switch events, however you wanted to kind of manage that within your race. There's multiple ways to do that. Yep, next.
2 questions. Apologize if you covered this.
Sure.
I hope I didn't miss it. But first is mobile version versus desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any control over that at all, and how that to the user?
So he's asking about mobile optimization. So it's automatically going to fit the screen size. So I have a 6 Plus as my iPhone. So I have a little bit more screen width, but if I have a smaller phone, it'll still fully show up everything.
Do you have options of what you show on mobile versus what you don't on desktop?
Okay, so yeah, the option, there's no necessarily custom options of what shows on mobile or what doesn't, other than in the race theme, there is an option to not show the race name in the mobile section, because that generally takes up some space, or the top header. So there is a couple of things to edit for mobile in the race theme page sections. It's going to have a different little menu icon. It's going to have the little 3, you call it the hamburger icon, and that'll slide out your menu. But it's all optimized, and they can still get the same exact content. And then you can just kind of tighten it up a little bit by not having the name of the race kind of take up a lot of real estate.
My second question was, do you have any options with social share? Meaning that what's displayed on social media, so Facebook, Instagram.
Yep. So he's asking the social media when you share. So we didn't cover that on this particular discussion, but in our viral social marketing webinar, in the promotions tab, there's a section called social sharing. And that's where you can actually customize the message that gets shared when somebody finishes and completes your registration. When you are doing a referral tracking program, you definitely want to highlight that. And you can control the image that gets shared on social media. And that's very important because a lot of times the race logo, while my race logo was cool for the Vancouver Trail Run, that's not really necessarily eye-appealing when you're scrolling through social media. But if I have some of these smiling faces, people running, jumping, looking like they're having fun, that's more of a marketing style image that you can customize and get shared through that social media section.
And more specific, if you just type in, like on Facebook, www.vancouvertrailrun.com, what pops up, right? And that's what social share really is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next.
In terms of like color scheme and photos and videos, is that capability still available with like team fundraising pages? I imagine it's not as robust as the main page, but how much customization, not to get too in depth, but
Sure.
things like that.
Yeah, so he's asking about customizations for fundraiser pages and team fundraiser pages. So we just did a big UX update for that where people can literally do a slideshow and tell a story on their fundraising page. So they can upload those banner images and they can better highlight like their fundraising goal and they can customize their story. They can even create their own branded URL. So they can create a short URL to share with their friends and family to help recruit more donations. Nick?
Custom color schemes, custom hex numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You walk me through how you do that? I seem to only have a color scale and define the color similar, but how do I exact hex number?
Yeah, so for the hex codes, there is going to be a little bit of web safe hex colors to get you as close as you can. Depends on if you're on a Mac or a PC. So a PC, I'll get with you afterwards to kind of walk you through that. Any other questions? Yep, down on the floor.
So if you have the cover page and the header banner, you don't need the race banner anymore. Is the race banner just for the generic?
Yeah, the race. So she's asking that if you set up a cover page, it does kind of de-emphasize the race info page that we first kind of walked through out the gate. You still have all of the information as far as the Google Maps and the description of your race, but it's going to not show the race banner image anymore because you've now upgraded basically to the content for the cover page. But if you were to remove your cover page, there's a toggle to enable or disable your cover page, then it would revert back to the race banner that you set up.
So I have a question. If we were to use this site, we've used the RunSignup platform for 4 years, since we are 5th year using it. Are we able to also include historical information? If somebody were to go to our site, they want to see how they did in 2017. We can still link back to the RunSignup information and it will appear on the new site? Exactly.
So she's asking about like historical content for RunSignup. And one of the things that we do for our race page is we have this concept of a renew your race. Right. And so that keeps that same URL year over year. You've uploaded results to that URL and you're just kind of renewing the race, which archives the old information that's still there in your reports and it's still there in your results history. So if you list a tab for your results, I can look back and change the year to whatever information I want to do. So if I'm looking to beat my time from last year, I can easily go and check that out and know what I need to run for next year to beat the time. So it's really important to renew your race every year instead of creating a new one. Because again, the search engine optimization, because your race has been out there for 4 or 5 years, that's a lot of weight and traffic with Google in Google's eyes, where if you were to create a brand new one, you'd start off from scratch. And then when people Google your race, they're going to find the old one because you started a new one. So that's really important to renew the race. So good question.
Two real quick questions. One is, I think I understood from the previous discussion there that you can create a cover page that's basically in draft mode until you enable it. Is that right?
Correct. So he's talking about the cover page. So you can preview the cover page as you're creating it before you enable it. You can create all that content, the header and the custom sections, but not use the toggle to enable it. And there's a preview option that you can do to see what it looks like beforehand.
Just real quickly repeat the pixel sizes for the banner images for the cover page.
Yeah, so the cover page should be 2000 by 800 if I'm serving memory correctly. And I think the other one is 900 by 360. Okay, and so I would really like a high five if that's correct at the end.
Matt, are all these
I can't see that written down anywhere else. So.
PowerPoint's going to be available for us?
Yeah, she's asking about the PowerPoint. All of this information is available. If you want to, kind of have these slides up on one window and then have your cover page up on the other one, you can kind of walk through that information and kind of go through at the speed of that. Because I know I covered a lot of information really quickly. So yeah, it's
Where
good.
is that going to be available?
So we'll have a content out. All attendees are going to get an email probably afterwards Wednesday, and it'll have all of the slides from all of the presentations from the entire thing. So I know we have a lot of tracks here, so don't feel like you're missing out on anything. It'll be available. Zach?
What's the best way to upload a PDF file? Is it create a custom section just for that file?
Yeah, so a custom section, you can upload a PDF form for that, and then that'll give the little PDF icon if you need to download an athlete guide. You can upload it, which then uploads it to the cloud, which then generates a URL, and then you can link to it that way too. So there's a couple different ways to do that. One of the custom action buttons, you could have athlete guide, and then you're using that cloud URL from uploading that file and just direct them right to it. So that's another little advanced trick. Otherwise, it is just going to show that PDF icon to the user, and they'll just click on it and it'll go to that guide as well.
You can only do one per upload per page.
Yeah, per custom sections right now, we just have one upload item, and you can kind of organize it whatever you want it to do. Mm-hmm. Yes?
I have a question about the renewal of the race. If we are taking donations and or someone is fundraising, does renewing the race cut that off?
Yeah, so she's asking about renewing the race. So what happens is it's going to archive that year's information of registrations, results, and fundraising, and it's going to start a new period. That way you can use our comparison reports to compare fundraising for this race period versus fundraising for last year's race period.
So then you would recommend, if people are, say, races in September and we want to allow donations until December 31, would you renew the race then?
Right.
December 31.
Whenever you want to do your donation campaign, that's a good point. I always recommend keeping donation periods open beyond the race, because you're going to send a post-race email. You're going to tell people, hey, your photos are ready. Your results are here. Your video finisher's up. Thanks to our sponsors. And now that you've come to our race and you feel a little bit more connected to our charity and seeing what we're doing, please consider doing that one last donation effort, for that. So you always want to keep that donation period open a little longer. Some races do want to renew immediately and get the registration for the next year. But whenever you're ready to finish that donation year or you're closing your year out, then you renew your race. Any other questions?
Fundraisers have to re-register each year, right?
Yeah, each year as a fundraiser, you're going to need to register, and we have a cool option to bring back your fundraiser team. So that allows the captain to easily go ahead and automatically email the team members from last year and jumpstart their registration. And that's a good thing to find the top runners of your race. Go to your repeat athlete report. See who's coming to your race. Reach out to them to get them kick-started for next year's race. Find your team captains. Those are the social influencers of the area. See who referred the most people last year. And then send a special invite to them to have them have early registration to get the ball rolling for next year's registration. Great. And if anybody has any questions that they didn't feel comfortable asking in front of the group, please feel free to come up to me. I'm happy to help. Awesome. Thanks for attending, everybody.